Namaskar everyone. First of all, thank you so much for exploring the course. And this is a special course because I'm going to talk about Databricks, which is the most famous data engineering platform in the planet today. And the course is a little big. The reason is because I'll be going pretty deep in the concepts and hands-on of Databricks. But before starting the course, I want to make some sincere request. It does not matter whether you take my course or not. This is a request to all of you, whoever is watching this video. I want all of us to reflect among ourselves and look at the situation of the world today. There are wildfires going on everywhere. In Europe, in Australia, in USA, the temperatures of Europe has crossed 40 degrees, which is unthinkable. So what does it tell us? That we are destroying the world, or we're destroying our mother nature slowly and steadily. But still there is time before Mother Nature goes to an irreversible phase where Mother Nature points the revenge gun towards humanity once and for all. And the only way to save the world, or in fact save humanity, is to save the animals and save the trees. We need to do something about the animals which are there. If there were no humans, then the animals would be living their own peaceful life, obviously with the way Mother Nature meant it to be. Now, what we can do, first of all, you have to understand that the earth is made for all of us, not only humans. We do not own the planet. It belongs to each and every living being out there. And we should respect Mother Nature because that's how she meant it to be. I do not want to stress that all should become vegetarian, but I just wanted to point some fact that animal meat causes around 12 to 15% of global greenhouse gases per year, which is a huge amount. So if you consider 12 to 15% by the meat, that's a huge amount. So we need to save the animals. Mother Nature can still understand that we belong to the food chain and we eat some of the meat, but not as much. But one thing that is beyond comprehension is killing animals in the name of fashion, in the name of utility. The least that we can do is stop the other part of killing animals. And the least that we can do as human beings is stop buying products which are made out of animal sacrifice. For example, leather belts, leather seats in our car, or leather shoes, or wearing fur, or wearing anything, any fashionable thing which is made out of animal skin. These are some of the things that you can definitely live without. We do not need to make fashion statement by wearing something which was made out of an innocent life being killed. So that is the request from me to all of you, that stop those products. Even if you can't become vegetarian, please stop buying those animal products. We need to save animals. We need to save trees also. And as I said, we are destroying left, right, and center everywhere. This craziness should stop. And we should start loving our nature again. We should start loving animals. We should not harm them at all. It can be stray dogs, stray cats, it can be any other animals which are there, which try to coexist with us. The only thing that we can do is show compassion and stop harming them, because this is their world also. So this is a sincere request from me. Whether you take the course or not, please try to follow this. Mother Nature would be really grateful towards us if we show at least a minimum compassion level. Now let's start the course that this video is all about. This is about mastering Databricks, which means that after completing this course, you should be able to comprehend or work on Databricks on your job also. And along with it, you can clear the data engineering professional certification also. First of all, let's talk about data platform. So what is a data platform? You might have heard about this saying, data is the new oil. And I do not agree to that, because I don't think data can ever become oil. Oil is something which is needed for energy. If there's any war which goes on in Middle East, all of us are impacted. But if the data flow is stopped in Middle East, nothing will be impacted. So I do not agree to this statement that data is the new oil. But knowledge of data is super important, which is another statement that you might have heard about all around your technical journey. And I could not agree more than this. The knowledge of data is very important, because everything around us now, as far as technology is concerned, is driven by data. So what is this data platform? What do I mean by this data platform? Obviously, we'll be going deeper into it in future videos, but I wanted to give you a high level introduction here itself so that we can understand where Databricks fit in. Data platform actually processes data by collecting them from various sources. There can be various data sources. It can be real-time applications. It can be relational and non-relational databases. It can be IoT devices, smart devices, etc. So these are the different data sources. All these applications or all these sources generate data. It is not that data is generated out of thin air. These are the places where data are generated from. And we use these data to perform various analysis, and various business decisions are taken based on processing this data. Now, to process the data, we have to ingest it. And after the ingestion, the data is stored somewhere. There are various ingestion technologies, there are various ingestion tools, and there are various storage technologies also. In most of the cases, it would be cloud object storage like AWS S3, Azure Data Lake Storage, etc. After the data is stored, this is known as the raw data, because whatever data is there in the data sources, we pull it in using the ingestion tools or ingestion framework and store the data in its raw form. We do not change anything. We do not process anything. So this is the raw data which is ingested, and then the first processing layer comes in, which is known as silver processing. Why it is known as silver processing? Because it caters to the Mendelian architecture. So in Mendelian architecture, there is bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. So the storage of data and processing of data is also named as such. I'll be talking about Mendelian architecture in very much detail, and the entire course follows the Mendelian architecture itself. In which ways, this is the first layer of processing, where the raw data is processed for silver layer. And then it is stored again, maybe in cloud object storage or lakehouse. Typically, the storage layer would be lakehouse like Delta Lake, Iceberg, Hoodie, etc. But this storage layer, or the data form of the data that is stored here, is a little different. These are all cleansed and curated data, and maybe enriched also. After the storage is done in this layer, it is processed again for something called gold layer, which again follows the Mendelian architecture. So there's different type of aggregation that is performed, and the gold layer processing is done, and then the processed data is stored again either in data warehousing systems or operational databases, or maybe lakehouse also. And from there, the consumption applications like reporting applications or reporting tools like Power BI, MicroStrategy, Click, etc. read from this storage data. Not only that, this same data can be catering to dashboarding applications also, or operational analytics also. We'll talk about all these in the course anyway, but I just wanted to give you a high level overview of what a data pipeline is. So this is how a data pipeline looks like, wherein the data is collected from various sources, then it is processed for different requirements, and then eventually it is stored in a very modified way in the final layer or for the consumption. So this is known as a data pipeline, where the data is collected, goes through multiple layers of storing and processing, and eventually it is exposed for consumption. And a data platform is something which handles this entire data pipeline using a single tool. That's what a data platform is. It has features or capabilities to ingest data, then store it, and then perform various levels of processing, and eventually store in the gold layer. And in the market, there are only a few data platforms which are available. One is the Microsoft Fabric, and the second one is Databricks. Now, Databricks by far is the most important and most popular data platform. It is known as data intelligence platform because there is GenAI integration also. There's something called AWS EMR also, which is not a data platform. It is a hosting platform which gives us managed Spark cluster or managed Hadoop cluster or Yarn cluster, etc. But if you want to talk about data platform, then there are only two data platforms which are out there in the market. The most popular one is Databricks, then you have Microsoft Fabric. There are other tools also like Snowflake, ClickHouse, etc., which provide data warehousing capabilities, but they are also trying to become or extend their capabilities as data platform. So far, Databricks is the most mature, most stable, and most popular data platform out there. So let's talk about Databricks a little bit more, and let us try to understand what am I going to cover in this course. First of all, what is Databricks? The short form of Databricks is DBX. Now, it is a data intelligence platform or data engineering platform which caters to the entire data pipeline. So, it is a single go-to place where you can orchestrate or create your entire pipeline from the beginning to end. And why should we use Databricks? As I already said, this is the most famous, most popular, most stable, and most feature-rich data platform out there. So Databricks was founded by the creators of Spark. So you can imagine that all the features that comes in Spark, those are first launched in Databricks, then it is given to the open source Apache platform. Is knowing Databricks important? If you are a data engineer, there's no doubt about it. You should know Databricks. If you do not know Databricks, then you should know at least one of the data platforms, which is either Microsoft Fabric or maybe AWS EMR. But if you know Databricks, people would know that yes, you work in the data engineering platform. You know what data engineering is. Now, this is another question which I get a lot. Should we learn data platform in the age of GenAI and large language model? I'm recording this video in the month of July 2026. And if you are following the news, there's a lot of controversy going on around GenAI, around OpenAI, around Anthropic, and the usage of GenAI and the return on GenAI, whether the organizations are adopting GenAI or not, because the price is very high. Not only that, there are environmental concerns, there are security concerns, there are a lot of other concerns also. So the overhype of GenAI is getting settled down a bit, and that is the reason I have not created any course on GenAI. I will be creating course of GenAI in parts. But having said that, the question remains, should we learn data platform in the age of GenAI and LLM or not? The answer is absolutely yes. You should have your core or foundational technical background as is. GenAI is not going anywhere, remember that. GenAI would be there. It will not be vanishing in thin air. Maybe the adoption will slow down or maybe the adoption will take time. But your foundational technical background will play a very important role today and even in future, because maybe for GenAI also. And maybe in future, people who know hands-on coding will be paid a lot more than people who know vibe coding. That's what my feeling is. So, should we learn data platform in the age of GenAI and LLM? No question about it. Yes, you should. Should we know Python coding in the age of GenAI and LLM? Should we know SQL coding in the age of GenAI and LLM? Should we learn Spark development in the age of GenAI and LLM? Answer of all of these is yes. You can use vibe coding. You can use large language model to convert a natural language to Python programming or SQL coding, or maybe Spark development also. But obviously the quality is not as good. And there is a term called technical debt, which grows over a period of time if we keep on using vibe coding or keep on using GenAI for our coding purposes. So definitely you should know. But if people say that you do not need to know any programming language, you do not need to know SQL coding or anything of that sort, it goes to with Java, it goes to with cloud engineering or anything of that sort, they are essentially lying because they want to sell GenAI. And it is never going to be the case that GenAI would be completely replacing human. So yes, you should learn development. You should learn programming language. Does not matter whether you are a data engineer or an application development. You should not get away from your core technical background. So that holds true for data engineering also. You should know Python, you should know SQL, and definitely Spark development, using Databricks also, or development using Databricks also. So these are some of the questions that I get, and I think it is better to clear all these questions before you buy the course or before plan to start your learning journey on Databricks.